the 7th seed Broncos in the AFC versus the 2 seed Bills in the AFC. You smelling an upset in this one, Casino? Because
No.
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to see a lot of like Broncos upset talk.
No, I could totally see it. I mean, I can see it happening, but I'm not going to go that way. They have the Buffalo Bills at 8.5. I think that is way too high.
This should be a 3-4 point game.
I would say 4. That's where
Yeah.
I would put the line. I would put the line at 4, just to screw with the bettors, you know. Anyway, but the Bills at home, I think they're still going to get it done against the Broncos, but this game is going to be a lot closer than I think people think it's going to be. Well, again, we're starting to hear a lot more talk now of an upset alert, but of what the line is, where the bets are, that I really do think that the Bills are going to struggle a little bit against the Broncos, especially early on, and then the Bills will turn it on late, as they typically do. But again, Sean Payton, not a bad coach, no matter how much we hate him, no matter how much we dislike the guy for, you know, the whole targeting scandal from back in the day. I don't like him as a coach, but he's a good coach. And this is going to be really tricky for the Buffalo Bills to navigate. But I think where the Bills are going to have the upper hand compared to what they've had in the previous years is they never had a good rushing game. Cook is playing outstanding right now. Cook would one dare say cooking. So
boo.
I said one would dare to say cooking. But I think Cook is playing really good, and I think that complements Josh Allen a lot more now.
Yeah.
I know Amari Cooper is, you know, dealing with some in and out injury stuff, but that's okay. I still like this team. I still think they're going to get it done against the Broncos.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, Bo Nix is good quarterback. I mean, every single one of these quarterbacks from last year's draft is really good. But I just, again, first time in the playoffs, I think Josh Allen's going to get it done.
Yeah, I just, for some reason, and I've kind of felt this way all season, where I watch the Bills play, and again, you'll watch them play games like against the Rams or against the Ravens, as we just talked about, and you'll be like, there's something off here, right? Like, so many times during this season would we watch Texans games and just be like, there is something seriously wrong here. But with the Bills, and then they still make it to the playoffs. With the Bills, it was like, they're good, but they're not great, and they just have these weird games and they blow out bad teams, which they should. But then again, when it gets to that Kansas City game, it's like, oh, they beat the Kansas City on Josh Allen doing like something super. And you're like, that's what we expect from Josh Allen. Then they go a bye week. The next week they play the 49ers, blow them out. So you're like, okay, maybe the Bills have finally like figured it out, turned it on, and are, you know, going to the Super Bowl. Then they play 3 games in a row where it's a 2-point loss to the Rams, where they give up 44 points to the Rams. They play at Detroit Lions, where they give up 42 points to the Lions. And again, they win that game, which is an impressive victory considering the Lions are probably the best team, at least obviously record-wise, in the NFC. But then they go to New England, are playing they play New England at home, which is even worse. And it's a 3-point game against a team that until the last week of the season had the number 1 pick in the draft. So it's just, this team has been so hot or cold. And then again, they play a 7-point game and lose, but that's with their backups to that same Patriots team, and then blow out the Jets previously. So the last month and a half, 2 months of this season have just been give up 40 points back to back, 2 blowouts, 2 close games, and then, 1 game where you're kind of just sitting everybody out because you already locked it up. So, and then again, the week before that was they beat the best team in the league and give the undefeated Chiefs their first loss of the season. So in terms of roller coaster of emotions, I think the perfect end to that roller coaster would just be like an upset loss to the Broncos, because I feel like if you paint the picture of the Bills season and then they lose to the Broncos in the first round, you're kind of like, you could have seen that coming. And I think that's why there's so many people picking the Broncos to upset the Bills. But I just think the Bills, the games they shouldn't have won, they won. The games they shouldn't lose, they lose. So that kind of, to me, gives credence to they shouldn't lose this game by any metric. And I'm picking the Broncos in an
That's
upset.
fine.
That's my upset pick of the week. I think the consensus has swayed me a little. And again, I just think it's because when the Bills are going against the Giants, they like step up and just wipe the floor with them, right? Outside of that weird Ravens game. But when they played the Chiefs, when they played the Lions, it was like best team in the AFC, best team in the NFC, and just dog walked them both, right? But then they'll play your Patriots, they'll play the Dolphins, they'll play.
They sat all their players for the Patriot game, and
No,
the
no, I mean
Patriots.
the other one where it was a 3-point game. That one was weird. And then also they play that Rams team that was like a third in their division at that point, and like maybe out of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they're giving up 40 points to them. So by all metrics, the Bills should blow out the Broncos, and they probably should. But that hasn't been the story of the Bills season. The story of the Bills season has been weird games here and there. This feels like a weird game, and I'm picking the Broncos in an upset like 22, maybe 28-24. That's my guess. That's my guess. And I am 100% willing to be wrong on that.
That's
But
fine.
yeah, you look at the Broncos defense, 7th in the league. You look at the Bills defense, 17th in the league. And then the Bills offense, 10th in total offense, 9th in the league in rushing, 9th in the league in passing. But again, I want to see Ravens Chiefs and Bills Chiefs as much as anybody. But I've learned, especially doing this podcast, we don't get things we want in sports. So we're not we're going to get a Broncos Chiefs second round game where the Chiefs just annihilate them. And then it's like, oh, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, and then they will. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know. The Broncos were a legitimate field goal away from taking down the Chiefs. So
I honestly, I think if the Broncos played them a third time, I don't know if I would pick them to win. I probably wouldn't, but the confidence that Broncos team would have to have going into Arrowhead after losing one game by 3 points and winning the second one by 38. I mean, I don't care if it's backups. I don't care if it's third string. You still beat the Chiefs in a blowout. Like, that's got to count for something. So, especially just confidence wise. But let's move on to that one. You're picking the Bills. I'm going the upset, and that's obviously my upset pick of the week.